When I was in China, I decided I'd try practicing my bartering and Chinese skills. And so I went to the fake market to see what kind of cool stuff I could come up with and got this fake Bose speaker. Obviously, it's not Bose, but I decided to tear it apart and investigate exactly what is inside this thing. And so let me just show you what all is in here. After you pull apart the screws, really there's just a little bit of glue holding things together in here. But what I realized is in the front and the back, you've got these two like bigger speakers that are supposed to be going on here. Here would be, there's where the other one goes in. And as it turns out, these aren't even speakers. They're just a piece of rubber in there that looks like a speaker. These are speakers, but the bigger ones that are supposed to provide more of the bass are not even in there. We've got a box of old speakers that we've torn out of things over the years, so I figured I would dig around and see what kind of speakers I can find. And sure enough, we actually have one that looks kind of similar to this. We actually had two, but this one was slightly bigger. And it looks like, actually, if I take that out, it already almost fits right in there. I'll just need to shave a little bit off. So I think it'd be interesting to see if we can maybe modify this to bring it up to a better sound quality. So obviously, this is a fake Bose speaker, and I mean, I think the equivalent I paid for it was about $10. So typically what Bose does, and Bose is known for having their speakers sound a lot bigger than they are. And the way that they're able to do that is by intentionally structuring their speaker, like physically designing it to have better resonance properties. So let me start with some of the basics. Let's say that you've got a speaker, right? And it's pushing some air. And really sound is just the vibration, it's a compressional wave. So the speaker just moves in and out, causing the air to vibrate and you hear the sound. So these speakers are, I don't know, about 2 inches wide, let's say. So they can push some air, but if you want a really deep sound, you need to push more air. And so what you can do, and you can try this at home if you have speakers, is take a tube and hook it up to your speaker. And now it's gonna force all of that air in there to move. And so you're actually gonna hear a bit of a bigger sound coming out of that tube. And then if you ever looked at a horn, you'll see that they kind of flare out at the end. And that actually causes the air to cascade and hit more and more and more air as it goes out. So they'll do that at the end. But what Bose has done is actually pretty ingenious. Instead of creating a long tube to make it more compact, what they've done is they took a tube and they wound it up like this. And then at the end, it opens up like that. And so now you can see, you can fit a really long tube in a very narrow space. And there's none of that going on here. So if we really wanted to improve the sound quality, we would probably have to come up with some sort of almost mitochondrian structured shape like that. So just to demonstrate, I have a couple toilet paper rolls here. And if I move them over top of this speaker, I can actually already hear a deeper sound. So if I put a small can over it, I don't really hear a difference. I don't think it's long enough in this case. Here's a little bit of a bigger can. And I don't know if you could hear the difference, but there's definitely a difference. I think it sounds a little bit deeper or richer with this over it. Now, of course, this is not the perfect design, but it just proves the point that you could design some sort of tube that would go over this that would make it sound really good. Much older Bose speaker, but you can see exactly what I'm talking about here. There's the speakers in here, and then there's this network of, look at this really long tube. So this one speaker, it goes all the way through the entire device almost twice before it comes out to the other side. So I found a picture of the inside of an actual Bose speaker that would look like this. And you can see it is a very similar layout, but what I realized is that they actually have dual passive radiators. So those things that I thought were fake speakers are actually not fake speakers. Really what's happening is they're using the speakers on the back end of the speakers are going to be moving the air around inside the cage and causing these passive radiators to vibrate back and forth. So from that Bose design, it looks like the air in front, like the speaker can be pointed outward, but somewhere in there, the air that the speaker is moving has to be directed through a tunnel, whether it's the front or the back. So those are some of the big differences between a real Bose and a not real Bose.